Hey guys, before we begin this week's episode, just wanted to give you a heads up. We had a little bit of a technical issue with Gavin's microphone this week. We know Gavin ruins a lot of things. You'll hear his voice kind of come in and out a few times. You know, this is a low rent podcast with low rent hosts, and you, our low rent listener. Enjoy the show.
Okay. Can I start?
Sure. Again, is it funny?
And this is Gaytriarchs.
But you didn't answer my question. And that is motherfucking Gaytriarchs.
It's still August. It's still summertime, right? We're still in summer mode.
Just barely.
We are
just barely.
Just the tip.
We're kissing. We're kissing September from behind. Do you know what I mean? Just the nape of the neck. we're just sweet little kisses
creeping up
behind the ear.
But I know that you and I and everybody we know, and all of our listener, were at least somewhat tied into the convention this week. Which, spoiler alert, we record right after stuff, and we listened to the Queen Kamala Harris speak last night, and she was, of course, fabulous. But so often, there are all these quotes that come out that are so often about parenting, right? And it is a simple, like, here's what we believe in, and it is a lesson for parenting. And so there were three in particular ones that I wanted to point out. And eventually I'll write a huge show note blog post that's going to go viral and send millions of viewers our way, including Kamala and Michelle and Hills and all the all of them. But for instance, and these are, I'm sure that everybody heard these, but for instance, Michelle Obama talking about Kamala's mother saying, don't complain about it, do something. I mean, I'm so glad that I forced my kids to watch an awful lot of the convention so that I can be like, remember when Michelle Obama said that? So
that reminds me of don't boo, vote.
Oh, there was that. Now,
that was my Barry Obama.
I can't wait for you to say that to your kids, though, right? When they're like, what, booing your macaroni and cheese? And how the looks on
my
their faces.
son did tell me the other day they're having like a summer blowout party at school, and of course you have to sign up for things because you have to constantly feed the school machine.
Course.
And I always go for the mac and cheese because I made a homemade bechamel sauce. I'm very proud of it. And the poster goes up, and I'm about to write on it, and my son grabs my hand and says, "Wait, Dad, don't sign up for the mac and cheese." And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I was like, "I make a homemade bechamel sauce. What are you talking about?" He's like, I don't really like it. And I was like, you know what? You can go fuck yourself. So anyway, sorry, continue.
Well, I mean, I want to double down. Please report back to us when your kids boo you and you say directly to them, don't boo. Vote. I want to see if you get as a big eye roll as when I say to my daughter, don't complain about it, do something. Barack spoke about their family values, and that his mother-in-law's family values are just like a good card game, hanging out with friends, and a good meal. And I'm reminded, like, it is the simple shit that we all just need to focus on, right? Not like fabulous vacations, although please somebody take me to Switzerland, and spending money. It's about like, that's why we have kids, is to just like
spend money,
sit around and have a meal and some laughs, right?
Yeah, I will say that, like, my husband and I were talking about this yesterday. The morning on school days, it's like you get about an hour and a half in the morning, and it's all about moving to the next thing. Let's get dressed. Yep. Let's go downstairs. Let's eat breakfast. Let's put on our shoes. Let's get our backpacks. And we don't actually get to enjoy our kids at all. And those days where we just get to like lay in bed and laugh and tickle and talk about things and do silly voices, like those are actually pretty great.
Yeah,
I have no joke there. It's just that's great.
That was the least funny thing you've ever said.
I know,
but glad you were here for it. And then also last night, Kamala just said, "Never let anyone tell you who you are. Show them who you are." That was more wisdom from her mom, apparently. I mean, I'm here for Mrs. Harris's book of mommy quotes, So never let anyone tell you who you are. Show them who you are.
Who are you, Gavin? Who do you show people you are?
Can you just tell me who I am? Because that would be so much easier.
Well, we were having a conversation prior to this about you interrupting everyone. So I think that's how the world, all of our listener on Gaytriarchs know you as the interrupter in chief.
Listen, this is my new challenge to myself, is to ask a question and then shut
the fuck up. Well, you know what interrupted me recently is So I was on a trip recently. I was on an airplane. As we know, I've been flying a lot lately. And my son, I was sitting next to my son and he was iPadding. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to actually watch some TV on a plane. Like it's been a decade since I've been able to do that. And so I'm looking for new comedies I haven't seen. I was doing some research and I was like, oh, here's this new show. It's called Colin from Accounting. It's a show from overseas. Yeah.
Oh.
And the very opening of the show has this woman walking across the street in front of this car, and she flashes her tit at this guy. That's kind of like the impetus for these two people meeting.
Okay.
Babe, they showed the tit on a United airplane flight. And I was like panicked. And I'm like, hey, my first thought was, who are people around me? They're going to think I'm watching porn, straight porn. And then I'm going to have to explain to them that, but then,
God, no, of course not.
But then I'm thinking about this the whole time. I'm thinking about like, oh God, who saw this or whatever. And then I get a tap on my shoulder and it's my son. And he's like, what was that? And I said, so now I'm playing dumb. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that lady, was she just naked? And I was like, no, you missed. He fucking saw it. He totally saw it. I just am so shocked. I thought all movies were like, they took out all the nudity. They do not on United. By the way,
well, so right, United.
Episode 1 of season 1 of Colin from Accounting has basically straight porn in it. So enjoy that.
I'm booking my flight on United.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, not straight porn, but gays. I was at this will surprise you, sitting down, kid's birthday party last weekend because it is all I fucking do. And so we're at this place, and it's the same people, and I'm talking to the same daycare parents, and we're saying the same conversations. And then I see 2 guys walk in with twins who are not the same, like who like there was just gay dad vibes. And we talked about this on a previous episode where we were talking about gay dads or waiting for their wives, right? There's always when you see 2 dads with babies or a kid, you're like, are they waiting for their wives or are they gay dads? And the whole time I'm trying to I don't know, ruffle my feathers in a peacocky way to be like, hey, I'm a gay dad too. But like, there's no way
not
to
virtue
do
signaling, but sexual signaling.
Like, what am I supposed to do? But all I wanted to do was be like, hey, are you gay dads? Because I'm a gay dad, and high five each other, or do whatever gay dads do. But it was so weird because I'm sure they saw me like clocking them, and they were clocking me, and I think we were both having the same conversation. But what am I supposed to do? Go up there and be like, are you gay dad? To be like, no, fuck no, bro. It was so weird, but I was like, I wish we could like be gay dads at this place together, but
you never got to the bottom of that, huh?
No, we were just eyeing each other the whole time, which to me says they are gay dads and I'm a gay dad, and they either thought I was hitting on them or also a gay dad. But I never
which is fine.
I should have just walked up to them and said something, but I'm a hypocrite, also obviously, and also a coward.
Well, I think just walking up to somebody and saying, "Hey, are you down with I don't know,
smoking pole?"
yeah, basically. Are you down with that? And that's going to be really awkward, but I invite you to do so the next time because that's going to be fantastic.
You know what I'm not down with?
Tell me.
The top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
I don't know if you know this about me because, as we've said many times on the show, we don't know each other even a little bit.
We don't know each other.
But
right.
When you suggested this topic, I wanted to fly to Connecticut and punch you in the face. I was like, how dare you speak ill of anything fall? So,
fall related.
But the top 3 list was your list, and it was the top 3 things you hate about PSL season / fall, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But
that's exactly
I have 3 things. I do have 3 things.
All right.
So
here, maybe this will give you some more context about the things that annoy me about the hashtag PSL vibes / fall, right? Okay. So number 3 for me is ultimately the disappointment of a pumpkin spice latte. Have you had a pumpkin spice latte in the last decade?
Many.
They're disgusting.
No,
I mean, they are
delicious
so
and
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, they're disgusting. They're do you actually enjoy the flavor? Do you drink them year round?
Yeah,
I get one on my
time.
birthday because my birthday is at the end of September. And I think, I'm going to do this. And I think, nope, I can wait another year for this.
When I make like French toast or banana bread or anything, instead of putting cinnamon in, I put pumpkin spice in. Always.
I'm gagging. I'm gagging, not in a good way. Number 2, the frenzy of performative football fandom. I find myself pretending to give a shit about the next few months.
Yeah.
And admittedly, I want to be invited to my friends' Patriots that's football, right? Yes.
That's football,
Patriots games and whatnot. That we all get wrapped up in performative football fandom drives me nuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, football is my favorite season because it's everybody's season. So don't try to own loving fall because it's just annoying. We all love fall. Don't try to make it your own. It's all of ours. Stop it with the, it's my favorite time of year. It's just so cozy. Like, find something else to love, because fall is all of ours. Don't try to own it. How about you, David?
It's so funny because you are a non-fall person. I am a fall person. Like, I am so gay for all the chunky sweaters and the moon boots and everything. But we have some crossover on our list, which is very exciting. So, and number 3 for me, the thing I hate about fall: crowds. Ugh, why is everything so... Everyone goes apple picking. Everyone does the things. And I'm like, no, I want nobody to be around me. Please. Number 2, I don't think I can say this anymore, but Indian summer. Do you know what that is? Have you heard of that before?
Yeah.
Where it's like that last,
Colorado, of course.
Okay, so it's based, for those of you who don't know, it's like the weather starts getting a little chilly, a little crispy, a little wonderful, and then there's just a random week where it's fucking balls ass hot, and it totally destroys the vibes. So that one random hot week, not interested. And number 1,
it is way too hot for your flannel, and it's too hot to drink a pumpkin spice latte, and it is to be on a soccer field / football field. Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm always iced. Everything is iced for me. I don't think I've had a hot drink in 20 years. I get iced pumpkin spice latte. I get iced coffee. I get this. Anyway, and number 1, it is the bane of my existence, are non-fall people loving fall. The people who don't worship fall year round, who suddenly wear their buffalo plaid and go apple picking just for the gram. No, bitch, you are not a real fall person. I want real fall people around me at all times.
Autumnal authenticity, please.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so that was your list? Question mark?
Mm-hmm. Sure was. What's our list next week? Oh, finally, he is cornered.
No, bitch. I have 20 ideas in my notes. Okay. So next week, our top 3 list is going to be top 3 sounds, other than my wonderful voice.
Okay. Our next class has taken his people skills, diplomacy, and charm away from show business and put it into interior design, where he's now a celebrated visionary pursued by what? Architectural Digest and every single DIY show on cable TV. Is cable TV a thing anymore? It is, right? Anyway, welcome to this daddy, Michael Angelo Stuno. Thank you for joining us.
I wish I was as glamorous as you just made me sound.
Right? I mean, it's a good intro. We like to intro our guests really. We like to build them up and then knock them down throughout the interview.
Oh, good.
That is
I'm used to the knocking down part. Great.
Well, speaking of the knocking down, then I lead off with this. My burning question is, did your parents name you so that you would be forced into great artistic creativity as Michelangelo?
No. So my grandfather's name was Angelo. Good Italian grandpa, and I was extremely chubby as a baby, and apparently I looked like my chubby Uncle Mikey, so I became Michael Angelo Stuno, and so they had no, it wasn't.
So you're not like a turtle who fights crime, who likes pizza.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Just making sure. Yeah.
Nor are you a Renaissance man. Although I would say that with that intro, I'm building you up as a Renaissance man. Come on.
A little bit of a Renaissance man, I hope. Like,
dumbing it down, though, can you tell us, how has your kid driven you bananas today?
Today? Well, it's like, it's kind of, I have a teenager. So, she's just turned 17.
Peace be with you. Yeah.
So it's really, the getting them out of bed is the thing. And she had a media day. I don't know if you're familiar with this thing with the high school, with school sports. now they do media day where you have to, they show up and they do little videos and they take pictures and they do all this stuff so that they can post it on the school's athletics website. So she had to be there at 7:45 this morning. And she's been, sleeping in all summer because it's summer and we let her sleep in.
Sure.
So then, I'm like, okay, set your alarm, 6:30, you got to get up because you got to leave, and then I hear her alarm go off and then nothing happens. And then I hear and click, nothing happens. And then, so then I have to drag her out of bed, knock, knock, knock. I'm up. Like, okay, so that didn't seem like you were up. And then a few more knocks and then she finally got ready. So that's
I love the fuck you tone of I'm up, right? It wasn't like I'm up. It's like I'm up, you piece of shit. I remember being a kid at that age and having to get up early for figure skating lessons. That's another story. And I was impossible. I was the same way. I was impossible to get up and I was really mean. I was so mean when I would get up. And then my dad started putting green olives in my mouth to wake me up because it would just be so much disgusting.
Wow.
Yeah, he would, because he was so fucking pissed. He was like, "Why are you not getting out of bed?" I just couldn't do it. I was the exact same way
because you were sleeping with your mouth wide open. Apparently,
I mean, I still do.
Are you afraid of martinis now because of being traumatized by olives?
No,
as a child?
I loved green olives. I would just eat it and then go right back to bed. I don't know what he was thinking. Yeah.
Well, this is a little horrifying to me that the way I was interpreting what you were saying, Michael, is media training so that you don't screw up and say the wrong thing. But what you're saying is it's the school promoting the athletes.
Yeah. So now, everything is so geared towards, Instagram and all that stuff that,
Sure.
and it's kind of great because if you follow the Instagram, they're like, it's game day. And there's a picture of your kid, holding a volleyball looking fierce as all shit. So that's kind of great in many ways,
Great.
But it's a lot of, and my kid she is not Miss, look at me. She really takes more after my husband that way. So it's a stretch for her to come up with things to do and, point at the camera and go, all this stuff they want the athletes to do, It's so.
Let's go back a little bit. So you are a gay man and you have a daughter. How did you become a dad?
We adopted through the foster adopt system in Los Angeles. Jeff and I, when we first got together, one of the things that we, coalesced on is the fact that we both wanted to be parents very much, planned that. And, but it took a long time before it happened. We were together nearly 20 years before the adoption happened. It happened just before my 50th birthday, which is not bonkers. And, so we always knew we wanted to do foster adopt. We knew there were lots of kids, and I have a history of it in my family. My grandmother, Vatini Coco in Queens, New York.
Fantastic.
She had 4 foster kids. So she had 5 kids of her own. And then after her husband died, she took in 4 foster kids. And one of them stuck. Wow. My Uncle Ray, basically became adopted. So it was in my world. And Jeff, my husband, has an adopted sister. So it was always in our world, adoption rather than surrogacy or any of the other ways people do it.
So for the listener out there who doesn't know the difference between adoption, foster to adopt, what is the difference there?
Foster adopt, so it's kids that are in a system. They're usually older. It's very rare that they're newborns. They're in dangerous situations or in a situation where they can't be raised by their parents, so they become wards of the state, and then they're up for adoption. So you can sometimes kids are in foster adopt and they don't get adopted and they go back to their parents. Reunification is something that is a goal for a lot of the kids that are in the system. But so what it basically means is that there's a lot of uncertainty in it. We had a placement before Imani, we had a placement, a newborn, a 6-day-old kid that we went down to UCLA Medical Center and picked up. It all happened really quickly. I was in New York working. I had to fly back, and then we had to get everything for a newborn because we weren't expecting a newborn in one day, and then go to UCLA and pick up this kid. and we had him for just barely a week, and then it all fell apart. And
wow,
there was another situation, and they took him back, and it was horrible. It was devastating and horrible, but it sort of was like it prepared me a little bit for like, okay, this newborn, holding him in my arms and falling in love immediately. And he was born with like tiny, tiny little heroin addiction. So we had to like give him methadone every few hours, every 12 hours or something. And so it was very intense, very deep, very lots of like bare chest, holding him like against my bare chest to like, and then he got taken away, and it was super devastating. But there was also a sense when we were placed with him, he was a white boy. And it was the whole time we were in the adoption process, the foster adopt process, I never imagined that was going to be our kid. I literally always imagined an African-American girl. Like it was just in my head. And all through the training, and you have to go through a bunch of training too before you can do foster adopt. And they warn you about these things that can happen. And so when we got placed with him, I was like, that's funny. Like, really? And we dived in and we went, okay. Yeah. And then it disappeared, and it was horrible, but I knew after that experience that I was ready to be a dad for real. Yeah. Like I really knew. Yeah. And then it was also a lesson in, I was unsure about that placement, and it was a lesson in, let's trust our gut about it. So then there were a lot of calls over that summer, like, oh, here's another kid. And I would like check in and go, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. And one time they called like 2 days before we were leaving for what we kept calling our last vacation in Provincetown, like with our friends, like being the gay men in Provincetown, like, because we knew we were going to become dads soon. And
the gates will be closed to you. You will never be allowed back.
Yeah, you are dead to us forever now. No, totally.
And so like they called like 2 days before, and I was like, if this was really our kid, like they wouldn't be ruining our vacation. We're going to say no.
Yes, they would. Yes, they fucking would. How about that?
You knew, right? Yeah. But then a couple months later, I was back in New York again, weirdly, at the same clients that I was with for the first placement, and I had to fly back, and we got a call, and they said, we have a placement, and they never do this, but they told me her name, Imani, which they're not supposed to do. And I was like, this is it. This is really it. And I said, I'm going to say yes. I'm calling Jeff to let him know, but I'm going to say yes. And I called Jeff and I said, I think this is our kid. And it was thrilling and exciting. And then I flew back and we met her. And then we took a long time to get to know her because she was already in foster care. She was very attached to the woman who was caring for her at the time, who's like a grandma to her now. She just lives like a mile away from us.
Wow.
And it was so immediate when we met her. Like it was really uncanny. Like and she had a history of stranger anxiety, like not being very open to strangers. And within 15 minutes of meeting her, she was like holding our hand and playing with us. She jumped into my arms. I was sitting on the floor and she was in the lap of her foster mom. And she looked down and she just like jumped into my arms. And it was like an hour and a half in. So, and then there were bumps because there was a horribly homophobic adoptions worker at the county who said they were like, place us with her or place her with us. And then they're like, oh, it's not going to work out. And we were like, what? And I was really thrown because I really felt like she's our kid.
Yeah.
And then they called a couple weeks later. Oh, and this was right around when we were getting married too, because it was 2008 and it was legal for a little while in Los Angeles. So we were like, we're going to be dads. Let's get married. So we planned this wedding. My mom was flying in from the East Coast. Jeff's family was coming down from up north. And we were like, we're getting placed with a kid. We're getting married. Like, oh my God, it's all coalescing. And then they're like, oh no, it fell through. And it was really confusing. Yeah. but then so then we had the wedding, and then a few weeks later they called and said it might be back on the table. And I was like, yes, it's back on the table because this is our kid. This is our child. And then again, it got thwarted. And our amazing adoption social worker, who was our social worker, said, I think that we have a legal issue here because the social worker at the county keeps dropping these little buzzwords like, are you sure two men, their lifestyle can accommodate a little girl? Like, and it was like, what?
This was one person, one bureaucrat was gumming this up for you. One person who,
which is amazing because the gay lifestyle for me at least is eating chips in bed. Like I don't know what they're talking about. Like crying in my car in the Target parking lot. Like that's the gay lifestyle I'm living.
True that.
Yeah. So it was. So that's the difference. And I thought, the truth is that's a difference. Like there's a lot more on the surface feeling of not knowing what's going to happen, uncertainty. But the truth is there's that certain uncertainty in private adoption too. I think it's just like you had my friend David Marshall Grant on a few weeks ago.
We sure did.
Yeah.
Shout out.
They had some, and I listened to the podcast. I wish that you would, spend your time getting a boner over me the way you guys were getting boners over David Marshall
Hey,
Grant.
we're working up to that.
Absolutely.
You can only see you can only see from our neck up. We're working on it. Don't worry about it.
But he told the story of like a couple failed things that happened. And so after we got Imani before they adopted, and having seen what he went through, I was like, oh, in terms of uncertainty, it can be perilous either way. But it's so amazing because I always believe like the most important thing about parenting is to not think that your child is you, not think that like, oh, they're an extension of me. They have to be me. Like, and so adoption for me was raising a kid who wasn't not biologically mine was always really like a beautiful thing to keep.
That's a great element because I know that I struggle all the time with trying to force my kids into a square peg into a round hole by just being me probably. And,
but then also, we did surrogacy. There is also a lot of fucking terrifying moments through that. But the difference I feel like is mostly you're talking about biological happenings, right? Yeah. Versus you, which is who knows what social worker hates gay people or what law does it benefit you in what state or what reunification happens or what family member comes out. Like we don't deal with any of that stuff. We're just dealing with the normal kind of biology of, miscarriage or stuff like that.
So speaking of family members though, coming out, I think you have a unique situation. I knew that your daughter has still a relationship with her birth mother. And then you also mentioned this grandmother figure a mile away. What's that juju that you have around the entire family?
I feel like we're super lucky in terms of the woman who was fostering Imani, her name is Betty, was very devoted to her and also fostered a great relationship with Imani's birth mother, who was, by the way, a teenager when she had Imani. She was, Imani is coming up in December. She'll be the age her mother was when she gave birth to her.
Oh, wow.
Which is like mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
And, to really see like what a 17-year-old girl is like and to imagine her basically without support having a kid. So Betty was very connected and very invested in who was going to adopt Imani, who was going to care for Imani. And she liked us immediately. And my mom is 3,000 miles away. Jeff's parents are up north. And so, and she's like Betty's like, she's going to be 80, I think. So she's like 15 years older than me. So she was like definitely grandma territory when we met her. And she really wanted to be involved. And it was so amazing to have a grandma nearby.
Totally. Which
And,
is life-changing for a parent.
Life-changing,
We don't
yeah.
have
Yeah.
any family in the area. We rely on babysitters only.
Oh,
And
yeah,
the people I
really?
know who have family nearby who can just drop baby off with grandma,
Yeah.
I'm just so jealous of, because as you know, it is incredibly helpful just to have that one little support person near you.
I've said for years, like, I never, I grew up in New York and suburban New Jersey, and I moved 3,000 miles away from my family,
Yeah.
and part of it was just like creating a new thing, and part of it was like I was in show business at the time, and but I never, I so wanted my mother when we first had Imani, and when she would come out and visit, or when we would visit there, and my mom was so, my mom was she's still alive, but she has Alzheimer's, but she's a great mom, and she was so great with Imani. We had a friend of ours had a show opening on Broadway in the first year that we had Imani. So we went back to New York, and for the first time left Imani. Like, we were so nervous to leave her, and my mother was like, "Get out of here! Like, we're fine. Like, I know what I'm doing." And Imani
then
did have
feeds
this
her
thing.
cake immediately, right?
Oh, yeah.
Cake.
Right.
Cake,
Please,
toys,
Mom, no
cake,
sugar,
toys, yeah.
Literally on a sofa bed in the basement watching movies, and with the dog on the bed with them, and and Imani just, it was like easy as pie. And so
That's awesome.
having family, I really appreciated it.
It makes a world of difference. So let's go back to your we want to talk about the whole you. So let's go all the way back to pre-parent you.
Okay.
And you were an artist. You've been a lot of different kind of artists. I hope you were not an actor like Gavin and I, because we only have room for two of those on this show.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about you. Yeah.
I started when I was really young, like in New Jersey. I found a community theater. And so, I started in kindergarten when we lived in Queens. When I lived in New York, I got handed like The Little Kite Who Couldn't Fly. And I think because I was a good early reader, I could like do the part. So I had to lead. And
sure,
and also
applause is a drug.
It's a hell of a drug
from kindergarten on. So
and listen, it started before that, because when we lived in New York, like on a block where my cousins we had like 5 cousins who lived on the same block. My grandmother lived on the same block. So, and everybody, I don't know how this happened, but everybody took tap dance lessons. From Miss Kathy's School of Dance.
Yes, you did, Miss Kathy.
Like, what? But I mean, my older brother, who's like not, cisgender, whatever, like everybody took tap lessons.
Oh.
And
I want to live in a world where everybody takes tap lessons.
Amen.
Everyone should take tap lessons and be a waiter sometime.
And be a waiter.
I believe.
Oh my God, yes. Some sort of customer-facing position, because you get to see the grossest part of humanity. One of the first temp jobs I had when I first moved to New York City was I would hand out flyers for various companies. That is a way to see the grossest part of people, when you hand them trash and the way they treat you. Oh, awful.
So you started out as in kindergarten as a tap dancer, and then suddenly you were in LA.
At age 3 in Miss Kathy's School of Dance, I played Jiminy Cricket in a tap show. And I was literally like 3 or 3.5 years old. And I can remember the applause. Like I could I killed. I was 3 years old. I was like the youngest one. So, and so that set it up, right? And then I was always doing that. And then when we moved to New Jersey, I found a community theater, the Barn Theater in Boonton, New Jersey. And I did shows there. And I just decided at a very early age that I was going to be an artist. And then that morphed into being an actor. And then I went to NYU. I started working right out of high school. Someone saw me in my high school production of The Odd Couple, playing Felix Unger. And I got a manager, and I went to NYU and started working my first year of college. So I thought it was all going to happen. Like,
so easy. So easy, just like that. Yep.
It's faded. It's me. And then
what are people talking about this being a tough business? Come on.
It's so true. Literally the first professional job out of college I was ever offered was the first and only time I was offered 2 jobs at once. It was 2 different tours. One was a non-equity tour in a lead role, and the other one was a ensemble role in an equity tour. And I was like, what should I do? What should I do? And I was like, I'm going to have to be making these decisions for the rest of my life. Never once have I ever had to turn down work.
Right. Yeah. So blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Working, waiting tables, struggling, working here and there, but it didn't, I was like, everyone, I was at NY my freshman year, I'm having like tapes sent to the West Coast for TV series. Like, I think I'm going to be a sitcom star any minute, Broadway auditions. And then it just didn't happen. And I started to just do other things. I started doing yoga. I ended up becoming a yoga teacher for a while, and went on a really deep spiritual journey, and then decided to move to LA and came to LA and really started to get involved in the improv world. I studied at the Groundlings, and that was super fun. And it was like a natural for me. And then somebody I met at the Groundlings, we created an improv show that ran for like 3 years on Melrose. And I thought that was going to be my big ticket. Like, New York Times came and did a story on us and all this stuff. And then it didn't happen again.
This is so relatable. And it is just like the reality of show business. So often you think that there is going to be something that's going to take off, and yet you're still struggling, but you have parlayed. I mean, your acting skills have probably led you to where you are right now.
Yeah,
is that
I think so. And, part of it was that I did end up working a lot for a period of time. And then we bought a broken down, horrible property that was a great property, but a horrible, broken down 100-year-old house in Venice, and renovated that. And after I'd made a bunch of money, and then we spent every penny I had in savings renovating this house. But I did a lot of the design work on it when I was working with the architect and working out stuff and materials. And then, I was just turning 40 and out of money, and stopped working less and less and less over those couple of years. And then suddenly I was like, I have to find a job now. Like, what? Mm-hmm. I can't, I'm going to be a waiter again. Like, what? And I was still teaching yoga, but it wasn't like enough money to live on. And so the architect, a really kind, talented guy named Dennis Gibbons in Los Angeles, he was like, I would give you a job. Like, you're talented as a designer. You could do interior stuff for me. So he hired me. And then somehow, I had a friend move from New York. They needed someone to do their house. I did their house. And I started, it was like,
this is the dream for so many people, I feel like. I know people who would like to just like fall into interior design. And it is amazing because you have a style that there are celebrities are clamoring at your door to be able to get you to do their stuff. And I've seen a lot of this on Instagram. Everybody go follow him it's at Michael Angelo Stuno, right? No.
Mick and Stu. But you don't even.
It's true. You have
it's okay. You don't need to promote it.
No, but there are a bunch of people out there, and you have been featured, and your style is super slick. I mean, is there like a label, or how would you describe your style?
Really, I think that it's all about the client for me, and I think that that's where, like, having been worked in the theater, and after being an actor, then I had a theater company. I directed a lot. I produced a lot. I think collaborating is the thing that's the most important to me about all of it. It's not really even about being so into styles or history of design, or it's more about connecting with the person and working with them that I find the most exciting about it. So speaks to where it's going to go. And I think like clean and simple is probably something that's a thread that carries through all the time. But it's really about the client and interacting with them and enhancing their life. And I love people so much, and I can't believe how interesting it is to be involved in people's lives on such a personal level, so, and people who I wouldn't, if I stayed in show business, I wouldn't be like intimately involved with a guy who's a neurosurgeon or, a woman who works for Rand. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have really been deeply involved with these people. And so that's been really interesting and exciting. So, and I think that's my talent, is interacting with people, really.
Now, is your house immaculately curated and clean and simple?
Or does the shoemaker's children go barefoot?
But, it's a sofa that we inherited from a friend who was working and making a lot of money and just decided to get rid of it. We bought it like 25 years ago.
Wow. She's lived in. And it actually, the arms are finally getting threadbare. I'm like, we have to recover that. And our dining table, then we sold that property I mentioned in 2005 when we were really trying to organize around becoming parents, and we bought a 4-unit apartment building. So we live in one of the apartments in the building that we own. So we really downsized to like a 2-bedroom apartment, and 1 bath, which is really interesting with a teenage girl,
no doubt,
like kill me now. But so when we moved in, there was a sliding panel door, and we took it down and we widened the doorway. And then I was like, oh, you know what? We can use this door as a temporary dining table. We'll put it on some posts. And that was 20 years ago. 20
I
years
love
ago.
that, though. But it's a conversation piece, and there's no reason that you need to have a $20,000 dining room table. It's just a place to put your mac and cheese. So,
but that's such the like suburban trap. This happens at our house all the time. It's like, well, we'll just do this for now until we get a nice one. It never happens. If you put up the temporary paint, the temporary wall color, the temporary table, it is that forever.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. But people, I mean, we spent time and interest and money on like organizing the space. So for a 2-bedroom apartment, it feels really nice. And I think that is, the curated part of it. Like it works functionally. We have a great kitchen because I like to cook a lot, and we've had amazing times in that kitchen. But it definitely, and people come over and they go, "Oh, your place is beautiful," and I'm like, just let your eyes breeze over it. Don't look too closely.
Step over the trash. Yes, that's it. So you've got a teenager. So Gavin has preteens. I have very, very young kids, but we're all basically going to get teenagers. So what's some advice for dealing with those monsters? I mean, children.
Don't think, this is really the truth. Don't think that you are exempt from being the I can't think of the words to say it, but the object of their disgust.
Oh yeah. There we go. Gavin's the object of my disgust, so he's my teenager. Yeah.
It's really kind of amazing. Like if starting at around, I don't know, 15, 14.
6:15 in the morning? Oh, never mind. Okay.
No, like age-wise, like the amount of times that I have said to her, like, really, that you want to play that way? Like, that's how you want to say that to me? Like, what? Nice. Or, huh? Yeah. It's astounding. And I know that, I thought, I don't think I must have been surly as a teenager, but I thought it was just because I want to get out of suburban New Jersey.
Yeah.
Right. Get back to New York City.
Versus the chemical thing that was going on in your body. I plan on giving my children dog collars, and I'm going to have like a little remote. And every time they roll their eyes, I'm just going to zap them real quick.
What's scary, though?
There'll be an app for that.
They're right so much. Like, that's the really infuriating part. Like, when she'll say to me, like, well, that's not what you said, blah, blah, blah. Or, well, why are you doing that if blah, blah, blah? Or that's, and I'm like,
don't call me on my hypocrisy. No, it is very, very true. My daughter will definitely call me on my shit frequently, and it is infuriating. It's really tough to just get past how you're taken aback and speechless because they're right. And you're right.
Yeah. And so, I really try to take a step back when that happens and not be like, because I'm your father, that sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And, but it doesn't always work. And then, there's a lot of, I'm not yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When she's like, why are you screaming? Or why are you so mad? And I'm like, I'm not so mad.
I have fully recorded my child saying things in an effort to play them back for them. So when they say, I didn't yell at me, I'm like, Your Honor, please look at Exhibit C, and I'll play the video. And then you could just see them going. And my kids are 5 and 2. I'm pulling this shit early. Yeah,
I'm pre-planning for sure.
Oh,
I'm impressed.
No,
and I look forward to Gaytriarchs in 10 years being able to pull those out. That'll be awesome.
Well, it's also, it's so, you find yourself longing for like, remember when I walked home and she was like, walked in the door and she's like, Daddy, and like ran to me, and, or even just like holding her with her like head in my neck. Like, you go, what? And then she's actually really not a horrible child. She's really great. Yeah, honestly.
None of them are. We're the assholes, but it's fun to be able to pretend it's the other way around.
But sometimes you get like that same feeling again, and I think they, feed you drops of it.
It's a drug. They're keeping us in this weird drug den.
A little bit, just a little bit of applause. We just want a little bit of applause once in a while. So what about your, I'll never forget the time when?
So I sent you that photo of Imani in bed with Hero, her dog.
Yes.
So
I'll show it to all of our listeners right now. Yes.
Okay. Isn't it cute?
It's very cute.
So Imani's first word that she spoke, we weren't there for it, but we were told was doggy. And she wanted a dog from literally the minute she moved in. She wanted a dog. So finally, when she was about 7, we said, okay. And we did a rescue situation, and she picked out, named her Hero, but the Japanese spelling, Hiro.
Because of course.
So she really wanted a dog. We got the dog. She was so happy that we got her a dog. And she literally would sleep with the dog in her bed with her under the covers.
So sweet.
And it was amazing. And it was every night. And it would made bedtime. Bedtime was horrible for us for years. I think her transitions that she had, and and then she moved in. She was nearly 2 years old when she finally moved in with us. And she, it was like having a newborn, but with the power of a toddler. And so we went through 18 months of hell trying with sleep. So it was really helpful with sleep because she was so happy to get into bed with Hero, and we'd close the door and whatever. One night, I go in to check on them, before I go to bed. And I'm like pulling the covers around her a little bit and love and looking at her. And then I feel like, what is happening? There's some wetness. Did she leak through diaper? What's going? No diaper. She was 7 years old. So what's going on? Did something happen? And then I pulled the sheets and it's all gloppy and wet in the bed. And I turn on a light and there's I don't know what all over the bed. And I'm like, oh my God, what's happened to my child? And then nothing, it didn't come from her. They're both asleep, by the way. Hero looks up and then I realize that what I'm looking at is Hero's vomit in bed with my child and little flecks of, I had decoratively seashells and a starfish on one of the low tables in the room. And Hero, I guess in the night, ate the starfish. And so there were little shards of starfish in the bed with mucus, and it was so disgusting. And then I was like, okay,
what do I do? Do I wake everyone up?
What do I do? So then I had to get her up, and then she wakes up, and the horror on her, face, and she imagine waking up and you're covered in. It was absolutely abominable. I had to get her cleaned up. Had to redo the bed, and it's like, I don't know, 1 a.m, whatever. It takes hours, and put her in bed. I cleaned her up, put her in bed with Jeff, and then did it all. Like, Hero's fine, right. And then after that, from that moment on, no more in the bed.
Sleeping. No. And that was her.
Hero cannot sleep in the room with her.
Right.
Hero, like, she doesn't even want Hero in the room with her. Like, she was terrified. And
thank goodness that was her choice and not your decree.
I'm not going to lie. When you were telling me that story, I thought what you were going to say was, and we decided she's sleeping. We're just going to roll the dice and let this sit until the morning because it can't get any worse. That would have been totally acceptable.
Yeah, we would not have cast any judgment on that whatsoever. In fact, thinking back on it, I would have probably just done that because she was fine.
If they weren't sharp shards of a fucking starfish.
Starfish puke is,
maybe it was. I mean, so that I'll never forget that.
Wow.
Well, Michael Angelo Stuno, you have left us with images that we will not get out of our heads.
Sorry.
Thank you for
parenting.
Thank you for demeaning yourself and coming onto our stupid little podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, you guys.
So my something great this week is a thing. I am a sauce girl. I love a dip. I love a ketchup. I love an aioli. I love any sort of sauce, any sort of dressing, any sort of anything. I found, and this is big because I'm going to say this, the most delicious dip / sauce I've ever had in my entire life. And it's from Costco for all my executive members out there. It is the Costco Kewpie deep roasted sesame. It's like sauce and marinade. They have it at Costco. When I tell you, run, don't walk to Costco, run. It is so... Now, to be fair, it is like 140 calories for 2 tablespoons of this stuff, but it is so fucking delicious. I cannot even express to you.
It's a dip for a cracker or a marinade for a salmon?
It's called like marinade and dressing, so you can kind of use it for whatever you want, but we usually use it for like, a salad dressing or whatever. It is so goddamn delicious. Oh my God. Anyway, it changed my life this week. What about you?
I am a political animal at heart. I love the game. My something great is just Kamala and the entire convention. And the fact that it was a big ass party of people saying, no, we are a party of freedom. We're a party of family. We're a party of faith. Whatever it may be.
Taking that shit back from them.
Even Hillary Clinton.
The Republicans have acted like they are free. They're all about freedom and faith and family, and they are not.
I've lost track of whether it was Hillary or Michelle who did, I believe, say, the freedom to worship who you want or not worship. And I was like, okay,
bitch. Us atheists in the house. Yes.
It was all sorts of great vibes. And I was up till midnight for 4 nights in a row, which I have not done in decades. And it was totally worth it, even though I kind of feel like crap right now. But
it's been so lovely to have that energy back. Not since Obama have we really felt this on the liberal side. And it has been really electrifying. I think we would have both voted for Biden, but it never felt good. It always felt like sad and like, fuck our system. And then this Kamala thing has just been like re-energized me in a way that I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's really great. And that's our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast on the internet. David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge at the DNC.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks, and we'll vote for you next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.